do you think that we are going to see even further of, I suppose, a little bit of a contraction in real yields, and perhaps gold, the US dollar weakness as well, is going to see a little bit of an uptrend? And where are you looking at it?
Well, I'm very bullish the precious metals going into 2023. And some of the reasons are because I believe that inflation, in fact, I like to say we're looking for inflation in all the wrong places, is not necessarily based on just the typical type of inflationary factors we've seen over the last couple of years after COVID. I think we have a lot of issues to be looking at, first of all, with supply and Mother Nature. I think we have geopolitical issues. Coups have already been sort of talked about in Peru, Germany. Now Brazil is having some issues. I also think we're going to continue to see inflation with wages. And I do believe that energy could be still a situation. Food is probably the biggest fear right now, as in food shortages, social unrest. All of these things and a weakening dollar and the credibility of the Fed, even with the hike today, I think means that they cannot control the type of inflation that we could potentially be facing, which will be very, very good, along with a lot of fundamental factors of gold buying for the precious metals.
Michelle, I don't have a sweet tooth at all, but I'm intrigued by your call on sugar in food commodities.
Well, the reason why we're looking at sugar is, first of all, if you go back to the last time we had an inflationary and stagflationary environment, which was in the 1970s, sugar went up for a few reasons. One was Mother Nature reasons. One was because of geopolitical problems. And one was also because a lot of the countries with food shortages stopped exporting sugar back then, Russia being at the top of that in the 70s, and that drove the prices up. It's also a comfort food. So when things get very expensive, people reach for food that tends to have a lot of sugar. So now if we look at the present, we still have the potential of issues with supply. We still have potential with issues with Mother Nature. And we definitely have seen food hoarding, at least signs of it. But even from a pure technical standpoint, sugar right now, back in the 70s, when it cleared 20 cents, it rallied up to 55 cents like that. We just today cleared 20 cents a pound. So we'll see what happens. But if that goes up, I think that's really the harbinger of more inflation to come. What happens very often with things like this, where you have such volatility and such an extensive move to the downside, is that this could be the last gasp. And we were looking at about $150 a share anyway as a possible target to the downside. So it's possible that his selling might be done. And there are many reasons. I mean, obviously, we know he has to raise a lot of money for Twitter. But he's also, you can't discount him completely. He's also starting a lithium mining company, or at least looking to, in the United States as well. So it's not just Tesla he's been selling shares of. He's also been selling a lot of SpaceX. He's really, right now, just trying to raise as much money as he can. Maybe got in a little over his head.
Is it the right way, you think?
Do I think it's the right way that he raises money by selling shares?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, clearly it hurts people who have been long invested in Tesla. And so this has not been a pleasant move for anybody. On the other hand, I don't know if he necessarily really thought this out. He's already sold about $20 billion worth of shares up a couple of weeks ago, and the bad news keeps hitting him. So I'm not necessarily sure it's a good thing. Obviously, for the market, no one wants to see this type of situation. But it may be the only thing he can do at this point.